This is All About Home Construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell-Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. Good morning, Randy.
Morning, Terry.
How are you, man?
Good. Nice to be back.
I'm glad that you're kind of back. I mean, you're back on the air, but that doesn't mean that you're back in the studio, calling us from home on your as you take a little like vacation, apparently, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's a vacation. I guess you can say that. It's not been a good one, but it's a vacation.
Yeah, well, we're glad that you were able to call in, and that's okay because I got your seat across from me here in the studio warm with the one and only Kenneth Reece, too. He is here this morning, stopped in to do some Christmas shopping, I guess, and decided to come in and say hello to us, too. So, Randy, you...
morning, Kenneth.
Hey, good morning, Randy. I hope you're on the mend.
I am. Matter of fact, I'm getting so I can walk without my walker now.
Well, that's good. And you had, what was it, knee surgery?
Yeah, I had total knee replacement.
Bionic knees.
Well,
yeah, it's chrome.
Y'all are, on your show here, y'all are always talking about building and rebuilding, so I guess you're in the process of being rebuilt, huh?
Yeah, he done told me I'm going to have my right one done, too, my left hip, so...
You know, things like that anymore, I mean, it's a fairly routine process these days, isn't it?
Yeah, 45 minutes and it was done.
Really?
Yeah.
Took you longer to get checked in the hospital than it did to have the procedure, huh?
Yeah, and recovery, yeah. And
wow.
The thing about it is the real fun gets, they sent me home instead of rehab. Excuse me, because of my age.
Mm.
And so I've been doing... home rehab. Excuse me, guys.
Well,
and I got a machine here. That thing works me over pretty heavy.
Well, I mean, I just can't wait to see you coming in and hopping on one leg on that bionic knee. You're going to jump out of the truck.
I won't be hopping on one leg anymore. I'll be coming in on two.
Well, I'm just saying you'll be on the new knee now.
Did you schedule it, or was it scheduled for this time of year because this is kind of the downtime for you in the building process?
No, actually, it was because of hay season.
Oh, that's right. I see you. Randy, my aunt lives up on a little hill above Randy, and I see them baling hay every summer out there hard at it.
That's what he does, man. He says he's working hard, but every time I see him on it, he's just listening to radio and driving around a tractor, and that air-conditioned tractor.
Well, no, there's no air conditioning. Yeah, Will did put air conditioning in my tractor when he broke my door.
So how long do they think it'll take you to be totally up and at it?
Well, they say it takes about 3 months. They didn't want me to go to job on the first month, and but my brother's telling me, he said you'll feel it for about 6 months, and then one day it'll just go away.
Nice.
Terry, that's a heck of a way for a fella not to work during the winter, ain't it?
I know. Conveniently, he doesn't have to work in the winter and work outside in the winter too. We see how it is, Randy. Let's not go too bad.
Hey, I grew up here in the wintertime. I've been out working all my life in the winter.
Well, it's been a good winter to work so far, I guess. So maybe that that luck will continue. So, we gotta get into all about home construction here in a minute. But before we do, Randy, every Saturday before Christmas we do the 12 Days of Christmas, and I found the price index again. And just so you know, when you buy all of the presents this year in the song, the 12 Days of Christmas, this year you're at $46,729.86 if you purchase one set of each. But if you do the entire Christmas song, $201,972.66. So only.
Well, I guess my grandyoungest just be out of it.
Well, but they said the biggest percentage wise, one of the biggest increases this year was the actual pear tree, not the partridge, but the tree itself was up like 14-15%.
So, well, that's pretty interesting because I'm seeing fruit trees on the internet anywhere from 99 to 169. So,
well, according to Forbes, and I don't know what kind of pears they are buying here, but according to Forbes, a pear tree is $299 right now.
Whoa,
that's a pretty big pear tree.
That's some kind of pear.
Also, it could depend on the size, because some people want to buy a tree that's 12 inches tall. Some people want to buy a tree that's 8 foot tall.
That's fair. That's fair.
Small trees are in pots. Big trees are in burlap bags.
Well, you got to be careful though with fruit trees around here in the high country, because certain trees just they don't do well, and it's. We've had these droughts. We've had weird weather. And KR, I know you're the one to talk about this because you follow it all the time. But if you think about it, over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
We've had droughts.
Yeah.
And we've not had a consistent weather pattern over the last.
Our winters have been very mild. Last year, the Watauga County school system only missed 5 days of school. Yeah. That tied the record set in 1995. And to be honest with you, about 3 of those days the kids could have went, but it was snowing on Beach Mountain and not anywhere else.
Right.
And obviously, as this school system, if one cancels, they all cancel for weather.
Right.
But and you talked about how mild it was this winter. So far, I was talking with someone the other day about the new Valley Cruces school, and they're making really good progress weather-wise. They've only had to miss really 2 days. One was a rain out, and then last Tuesday when it was winter, the wintry weather. So yeah, our winters are just not even what they were 6 to 7, 8 years ago. And I know Randy's probably got stories, of course, him growing up here. He remembers the deeper snows this time of year.
Yeah. Well, this coming Christmas will be the first time, and I couldn't tell you how long, that ever 50 states in the United States will have moisture.
Oh, really?
From that storm from the West Coast coming across.
But we're going to be in the basically 50 degrees.
Yeah, no white Christmas here.
Any white.
But he was. I know you weren't talking necessarily about white Christmas, but
we're either going, like here in the South, we're going to get rain. The Northwest is going to get snow, and it's going to come on across. But states that's been in the drought, look at Southern California right now and the floods that's going on.
Yep.
But the Sierras. See, they're going to be getting snow. New Mexico, Arizona, they're in a big drought. They've been talking about water wars going on in those two states because of the Colorado River. And so at least there's moisture coming in. But, we've been in this El Nino weather pattern now for 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years. And, until we get in the La Nina, the weather patterns aren't going to change.
Right. Well, it's kind of overdue, best I can remember. It seems like it should be changing over already. But
2 years ago, they were talking about La Nina coming, and then all of a sudden they're going, no, El Nino's coming back.
Yep.
So
it's crazy. Crazy world we live in.
Yes, it is.
Tell you what, we're going to take a break, and we're going to jump into All About Home Construction right after this. Thanks for listening to us.
Calling all hungry heroes. It's time to fuel up for the day at the VFW's All-You-Can-Eat Breakfast. That's right. Every first Saturday of the month from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., you can enjoy a heaping helping of crispy bacon, juicy sausage, perfectly cooked eggs, golden hash browns, biscuits and gravy, and so much more, only for $15. Whether you're a veteran, a family member, or just a friend of the VFW, you're welcome to join us for this delicious tradition. Come share stories, laughter, and good company while you fill your plate with all your breakfast favorites. Don't miss out on the VFW's All-You-Can-Eat Breakfast every first Saturday of the month from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. See you there.
That's right. All About Home Construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. Thanks for Randy being on the air with us, and then Kenneth Reece coming in. And not to do the news this morning, but just to come hang out.
I just happened to be in town.
We're glad you did, and it's good to catch up with you and two Valley Cruces guys on the show this morning, Randy. I don't know what to do. So, but before we get into it, don't forget, and KR, you're a big you're a big audio guy, so I know you're a big fan of podcasts. But don't forget, you can listen to our podcast all about home construction, and so we go back and catch the old shows. Sometimes we give some information where maybe you wanted to go back and share it, or go back and listen to it again. So wherever you get podcasts, go back and check that out, all about home construction. So
speaking of your podcasts and shows, I started to say this is the last one for y'all for this year, but
actually it is, because I have to be out next week.
Oh.
So so this may be the last 2023 live show. Maybe Randy and I, we're trying to do some digital stuff. Maybe we can put together a new show. Tune in next week.
It's been an interesting year, with everything that's gone on. So I know we've missed, probably this year's the most shows we've missed. That's the reason. Apologize for reruns and stuff, but that happens from time to time.
Well, life is busy, and when you got you got kids, you got families, and it certainly catches up sometimes for sure. So,
well, I got all the grandyoungins this Christmas.
Nice,
and all the youngins are in. So now this is a good Christmas.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad. It'll be exciting for you. Well, Randy, getting into the meat of the show here, we hear so much, and we always kind of joke around and this crazy thing, you wouldn't believe this thing that happened, and we have a lot of those stories, and we see a lot of those, and we hear a lot of those. We thought it'd be a fun show to kind of get into that, and just some of those horror stories, if you will, of construction, because there's so many of them, right?
Yeah, well, the bad thing is, when we talked about wanting to do this show this morning, I have been on the money pit this year. And I have no idea how this house ever passed inspection.
All right.
The building inspection. And so, the homeowner didn't, the guy that owns it now, his dad bought it previous, and he lived in it for a long time, so he never thought nothing about it. But then they rented it. And the renters, a lot of renters don't take care of homes.
Sure.
And you wouldn't believe what, golly, I don't even know where to start on that house, because this was a modified A-frame, so you come in 4 foot. You got your closets to go down each side of the house. And instead of taking the litter box and putting the trash can or outside the trash, they took the litter box and dumped behind the walls.
What?
And,
oh wow!
Yeah, we spent right at about $1,200 in chemicals just to get the cat pee smell out.
Oh. Dude.
And
how were they throwing it behind the wall? Did they just make a hole in the wall and throw it back there?
No, they were just a little scuttle hole where you could go back in, like a closet. And they were just stuffing it behind the walls.
Wow.
How
long did that go on for, that you think?
Well, how about 40 foot and 2 foot deep? 4 foot wide.
40 foot, 2 foot deep. Oh, dang. Man.
That's a lot of cat litter.
And the thing about it is, with all that cat litter, it stunk, guys.
Hey, wait. Before we get too deep into this, what's the R value of cat litter? Did that help at all, at least?
I don't know, but the strong smell of ammonia will keep it living in there.
That's fair. Well, cats, dogs too, but especially there's something about cat urine that I can tell you as a floor guy. Everyone always says, "Oh, my dog or my cat doesn't do this, my cat doesn't do that." Well, at some point it has, and it does it a lot of times more than you know. And I can tell you it's the same thing. Pulling up carpet, replacing floors, putting in wood floors, or especially when there's wood underneath, and you pull up the carpet thinking you can salvage a wood, and then you hit that one corner that the cat always goes to, and it just knocks you out, man.
Well, the house had carpet in it, and had a cut pile carpet, and the basement, and the first and second floors in it, and so these cats had peed so much, like you said, on the carpet that had actually run in underneath the bands on the house.
Ooh.
And we use anytime we do a remodel, whether we smell it, anything at all, or mold or anything, we still spray the walls with it.
Yep.
If we take the wall covering down from the walls, we spray the walls, okay? First off, that's for my employees' safety, and for the homeowner's safety. And we use it's a pretty strong chemical, but it's not an overpowering chemical. But it will kill it, and it will mask the smell.
Sure.
But the only problem was, it took about 10 gallons in about 2.5 months.
That's crazy.
So when you first started on this house, what were your estimates on how long it would take you to do this project before you ran into this problem?
Well, we figured probably about 4 to 5 months. We've been on it now a little over a year.
Oh, wow.
Because of all the other problems we found, with plumbing, with the furnace. This house is 40 foot long, 40 foot wide, so it's a box.
Yeah.
2.5 stories. And the furnace was way undersized to work in the house. They're trying to heat 3 floors with a furnace that's only capable of heating 1 floor.
Yeah.
So what they did was they cut ductwork in the base. They cut slots in the ductwork and put vents in instead of which they couldn't have run ductwork anyhow. But they just put 6x9 floor vents in it. So here you are, when your furnace comes on, it's heating the basement faster than it did the first floor. So you had to keep the thermostat up high to keep the upstairs warm.
Ouch.
When was the house built originally?
That's what really surprised me, is it built in the early 90s.
Oh, wow. I was expecting you to say the 60s or...
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Wow.
And it got away with the code. So it's almost like, I'm not trying to put all homeowners down there out, but, this is a project that was progressing as it went along.
Sure.
Yeah.
You hire a plumber. He generally puts all these clean outs in one area,
right.
But which clean out, if your drain lines ever stop, they can run a snake in.
Right.
Okay? We have clean outs on every exterior wall.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah. So what we got to do is when we go back in and we're getting ready to get the rough-in inspection, believe it or not, with all this mess. And we're going to have to put a box on the wall to allow access for the clean-out, sewer clean-outs. They even went as far as put a clean-out behind the furnace where the furnace is tied against the wall.
So it's impossible to get to it.
Yeah. So we got to figure a way to reroute the plumbing to be able to have access to it. So you can't stop anything.
Yeah. Now,
of an accident.
Does code call? Does code itself? I know you want cleanouts. Does code call for a specific amount of cleanouts?
Yeah, to an extent, but generally, you can put them in one location.
Right.
And,
well, that's what I was wondering. Because we talk about so much that a house to code is just the bare minimum, and that's what I'm wondering.
Like this house has 5 bathrooms on 1 floor.
5 bathrooms on 1 floor?
I was just getting ready to say, did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, you did. And so, with the amount of bathrooms, that you have to size your sewer line.
Your septic is,
bathrooms, okay?
Yep. So, if it's got 5 bathrooms on 1 floor, how many bedrooms are on that same floor?
5. We got 5 bedrooms on that floor, too. Each bedroom has a bathroom.
Goodness. Is this a house or a hotel or a?
Look, man, I can tell you, as someone that's got 4 kids, that's not a bad idea, guys. Look, that's not a bad idea.
Well, I don't want to bust any bubbles, but this was built by a preacher for his church.
Okay.
So I guess it was a getaway for classes and stuff like that.
Hey, I like it. I like
that.
But I still can't get over the cat litter, man.
But the thing is great idea till you went down in the basement and you're remodeling the basement.
And then now everything's in the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a headache, and like I said, I just have no idea. The house must have had just bare minimum in it.
Sure.
They first had the inspection, unfinished basement, and stuff like that. So, a lot of people, when they buy a home and it's, unfinished like that, they go ahead and they finish it themselves.
Right.
But they don't necessarily pull a permit.
Well, and that's the thing. You don't pull a permit, and chances are, as a homeowner, do it yourself. Just out of the ignorance, you don't know better. Then you're probably going to put it in not to code anyway, and because there's no permit to come back and check what's done.
Right, and there's a reason for that we have codes, and it's to protect the next buyer.
Yeah.
Or to protect you from, to protect your insurance company.
Sure.
From what you're doing wrong. And a lot of people don't take that into consideration. So there you go. That's the reason home inspectors, I guess, were invented,
sure,
because of stuff like that.
That's it. So, well, I'll tell you what, Randy, we need to take another break. We'll come right back right after this. Thanks for listening to us. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener-supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener-supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right. All About Home Construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. And we appreciate them so much. And we got Kenneth Reece in the studio and Randy Blake on the radio, on the phone. Good morning, Randy.
Morning.
And all right, so we're talking a little bit about construction fails and some horror stories, if you will. And okay, the cat one is going to be a tough one to top. And I think all of my stories would well, not all, but my stories would revolve around two things. One is animals, pets, and the other would be water, like some kind of leaks for various reasons.
Water can be a big one too.
Well, I think that to me the biggest horror story I've ever seen was, or as far as like wood floors go, is refrigerators. When you have an ice maker in your refrigerator, well, you push it back, especially with those old copper lines. You got a little pinhole in it, you didn't know it, and then the water just kind of trickles out, and of course water goes down, as we all know, and and it works underneath the subfloor, and then it works into the whatever's underneath the basement, crawl space, or whatever. And I went into a house one time, and they had pulled it out and realized there was an issue, and the subfloor was just rotted away. Who knows how long this thing has been leaking, and mold everywhere.
I got to say something on that right there. Go to a plumbing supply and buy your copper line for your ice maker. Don't go to Lowe's and buy it.
Is there a difference?
Oh, there's a big difference in it.
Well,
there's 3 grades of copper pipe plumbing, okay? And Lowe's doesn't sell the top line copper.
Got you. Well, at this point, why would you even want copper though? Like isn't the plastic PEX or whatever? I don't even know if that's actual PEX that's on the refrigerator lines, but isn't those plastics just as good.
It is, but you know the biggest thing about them is if a mouse gets in your house.
That's fair. Yeah, they chew on it too.
Yeah, good point.
You know, because we've gone in and which we've been pretty lucky. You know, with a lot of times that we found the plastic lines cut by mice because, you know, Terry, you know as good as I do that even though a hardwood floor gets wet and raises up, if you're on it fast enough, it will lay down with a dehumidifier.
Yeah. Well, wood will likes to go back, you know, and eventually it'll dry back out. But yeah, no, you're right. And it's just water and wood doesn't mix. Water and construction doesn't mix if you think about it. I mean, because it's damp, it's moldy. Doesn't matter if it's wood or not. You know, it's you're not going to build a steel roof. I mean, a steel house and want a water leak either. You know.
But you know, the biggest thing about wood flooring is it will return back to its natural state until it swells to the point that it crushes the fibers.
Right.
Okay. Once it starts crushing the fibers, then it won't come back.
Yep.
I got a quick question for you, Randy. Kind of switching gears a little bit, but in your experience, have you got a story you could tell us about trying where you're either remodeling a home or building a new home, and the homeowner is trying to get in before the holidays?
Yes. Jimmy and Beth Calwan in Ashe County, and that was a house that, you know, believe it or not, we were on that house about a year and a half, and we went in to do a remodel, you know, just a kitchen remodel and basement remodel, and you know, I did my estimate. I estimated out about $80,000 on it, and we were walking through the house. And I looked down, and I seen something moving in the hardwoods, and the house had termites.
Oh,
no!
Oh. So here we got a house now that we have 2.5 stories that we have to gut to get out of the termites, or to, you know, get the termites, find the termites where they came in and everything.
Yeah.
And I have to really commend Terminex for it, and because they actually tracked down the termites, killed them, and the termites were nearly over 100 feet away from the house.
Mm.
And so here we are. She knew that she wasn't going to have her first Thanksgiving or her first Christmas in the house, and then, you know, like I said, it was a nightmare in itself because the house was built in 41. Okay?
Oh, wow!
And the house wasn't built balanced. You know, you got floor joists that run parallel to the whole length of the house, and then you had the second story floor joists that run perpendicular to the lower floor joists, and we had 2-bay floor joists running 18 foot long on the second story.
Wow.
And so we actually had to start it. There was such a load on this house that we first started with LVLs, and we put them in because, you know, LVLs are cheaper than steel flitch plates, labor-wise and material cost. And after a month, our LVLs got to sagging. And so we had to tear all
because they were 18
out.
feet because of the span.
Yeah, and the load. Well, they had 2 seconds. You know how you look at old farmhouses and they've got the shed roof off the front of the house.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this had the shed roof off the back of the house.
So all the weight
The only problem was the shed roof had bricks on each side.
Yeah.
So we had all that masonry weight coming down on the inside floor joists.
Right.
Stuff that transferred all the way to the bottom.
So the residents had to vacate the home totally?
Yep. Which was a good thing. They lived in Raleigh, you know.
Oh, okay.
And she bought it so she could have this as their retirement home. We still maintain that house today.
Nice.
My company does, my employees.
So how long did it take you to do that complete project?
A year and a half.
Wow.
But we got it CO'd the day before Thanksgiving. So
wow.
the plant inspections allowed us to let them go ahead and move in or move their furniture in. You know, under the North Carolina code, you cannot live in a residence without a CO.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But they allowed them to move their furniture in, go ahead and have everything they needed for Thanksgiving. And we got it CO'd the day before Thanksgiving.
Nice. That's awesome. That's cool.
So they got to have their Thanksgiving meal in that house the next day.
That's cutting it close. Well, KR, you're no stranger to the construction world. I mean, you've got some experience driving trucks, and I'm sure you've been in that same situation though of this whole crunch. Like, I need it tomorrow, man.
Yeah, when my father was still alive, we were in the dump truck business and backhoes and trackhoes, that kind of work, and very often, every year, depending on when Christmas fell, let's just say, for example, yesterday is Friday. My phone would have been ringing off the hook, people last minute. Oh, we got family coming in, or we're coming in from wherever, and we've got to have this fixed today. And, you know, you get to the point where something like that, there's just no way to do it.
Yeah.
And there would be years that sometimes I would just not even answer my phone
because you knew what was coming.
I knew it was going to be that, and that's. I mean, I don't have to tell y'all. That's just a pain within itself.
Well, I mean,
you can't be Superman.
Yeah. Well, and you can only do one job at a time.
Yep.
And you know, it's tough when you got to go back, and because I've done that where, you know, same thing, holidays coming around, and I wanted the floor done, I want it to look good, you know, they're coming up, and it's like everybody wants it in the week of, you know, and
you know, I can relate to that. I did not build my own house. I have a double wide that was built in South Carolina and moved up here, but when we did that, my now ex-wife and I were putting it in. We were planning. We wanted it in before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And luckily, I had all the equipment to do the digging out for it and all of that. But still, there was a lot of pressure there, even for my own home, knowing that, hey, she wanted to be in it for Thanksgiving and to have our first Christmas and all that. And that's a lot of pressure for your own home, let alone if you're working for somebody else and they want that experience. You don't want to let them down, but you can't do it all.
Sometimes it's impossible, you know.
Well,
we don't understand that, and one of the problems we have up here is we do not have the workforce they have in Charlotte or Atlanta or Miami. You know, we always hear people out of state. Well, you know, we don't do that in our state.
Right.
Well, look at your state. You know, when the hurricanes come through, look at the damage that happens to it.
And another problem that we have up here that a lot of other areas don't face is the freeze-thaw.
Correct.
You know, there'd be a lot of mornings hauling gravel. If it was froze that morning, the ground, you had to get it there before 10 o'clock or whatever, if it was going to be a warm day, because you might get the truck in, you dump your load, and not get it out. I don't miss that at all.
Well,
you know, I'm old enough now that we still bury water lines 3 foot deep.
Wow. Well, you know, I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
It's not a bad thing at all. But, you know, it's like you said, though, the weather is so weird. I mean, on the other extreme, right, we got this, you know, these spring to summer days. How many times do we see the fog roll in? And, you know, and you think about this, and you've got your window open because you like the cool air, you know, in the hot day, and the fog rolls in the morning, and then, like you said, 10 o'clock, the fog starts to burn out. Look at that extreme temperature, or not temperature, but humidity's changed. You know, you're going from 100% to 20%. And so it's not just temperature. I mean, it's a little bit of everything, huh? So,
yep.
Well, let's take another break. We'll come right back right after this. Thanks for listening to us. Are you looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment you need to get the job done? Look no further than Blue Ridge Sawmills. We offer the full line of Hudson sawmills and sawmilling equipment, from portable sawmills to skidding winches. At Blue Ridge Sawmills, we understand that every project is different, which is why we offer a wide range of sawmilling services. We can help you from everything from finding the right mill for your farm, hobby, or even your business. We also offer a variety of sawmilling supplies such as blades, blades, and debarkers so you can get everything you need in one place. If you're looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment and the service you need, then come to Blue Ridge Sawmills. We're here to help you get the job done. Call or visit our Cana, Virginia store at 276-755-3833 or our Asheboro, North Carolina location at 336-964-8304. That's right, all about home construction here on WATA. Again, thanks to all of our listeners out there. Thanks for KR for coming in. Watauga Online, thank you for you hear me here at the radio stations as well, but Watauga Online.
I appreciate you letting me hang out. I had to come in and do a little bit of work anyway, and I was like, I'll just hang with Terry and Randy for a little while.
That's it. And we got Randy on the phone.
Thank you, man. Anytime.
Hey, well, I hope you're on the mend now. Y'all's first show of the new year will be January, what is that, the 5th, 6th, 8th?
Dude, I don't 10th? Have a calendar. 6th. That's the 6th.
It'll be the 6th because Watauga schools go back on the 2nd.
On Tuesday,
right?
Yeah.
So y'all will have a lot to talk about next year.
Hey, Terry, before you go, let me tell you my newest one.
Oh no, here we go. We got 9 minutes. Go for it, man.
Yep, go.
We started a job. We didn't. Greg and Frank did in Caldwell County last week. We went down and looked at it about a year and a half ago, and this is one of them homes where I got involved in the court system and stuff, and so I wasn't planning on doing the remodel on it, but needless to say, we won the court case, and so the homeowner said, well, I want you to do the job instead of the contractor that I hired to do it. So the outside band on the great wall of the house, we know that was rotting because we could stick a knife in it, and we stuck the knife all the way through into the deck band. And,
wait. You stuck a knife?
Yeah.
I mean, it was that soft. Soft.
And so we hit the treated deck band, all right? So last week, Greg and Frank went to go get started, and they sent me a picture underneath. And since we had been a year and a half ago, the pieces of the band had actually fell off to the inside of the house. And the contractor had used black plastic as the flashing for the deck and the house wrap. So, every time the sun come across that back deck,
it just
winter or summer, it condensated, and that's what rotted the band down.
Dang. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one right there.
Yeah. What they did was they made the girders in the house out of 2x12s, okay? So they set the 2x12s on the block instead of using a mud seal all the way around, which I don't know how that passed either, because mud seal's there for a reason to keep termites out.
Yep.
And so then they used 2x10 floor joists in the house, which like the half-inch being tall enough for the 2x12s. So they ripped down half-inch OSB with 7/16 OSB and put all the way around the house, so they shimmed up the 2x10s to match the 2x12s.
Oh, man.
So, and this was a contractor built this.
I didn't know. I mean, I guess they don't make board stretchers. There you go. You gotta shim some way.
Well, we've had to shim houses before.
Yeah, but you didn't go into it. You didn't go into it with that.
No, we've actually, where you get a dip in the block, we've actually poured concrete, or took a bag of Saccrete and poured it, level it out.
Yep.
We've actually gone in and formed some of them up to make it level. We've actually went in and on one house in 2001, I guess I cut a shim from 1.5 inches to 10 foot long, so to make my outside band level.
Right.
But that's a new one on me with OSB, because OSB was starting to collapse.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. It makes total sense. So, well, I'm going to leave you with one more story. When I was doing concrete work, We had a job one time, and when you pour a slab, sometimes you're at the mercy of what happens in the moment, right? The truck breaks down, something like that. And I remember we were pouring this slab for a garage one time, and I don't remember, it wasn't too awful big, 20 by 20 or something. And this was back in the late 90s, so it wasn't like you carried around a cell phone that told you what the temperature was getting ready to be. But I remember it froze up on us, overnight. Like we came back the next morning and had to continue finishing the top of it because it had froze. Mm. And that was kind of cool to see because concrete, gives off such heat. And we put a piece of plastic over it, and it was a weird, like, I don't know, like slushy on top. That was probably the craziest, weirdest thing I saw. So,
did you ever go back to it and see what it did?
Once we finished it, I never went, like personally, never went back. Because I was a teenager working for family. I didn't. I was ready to move on to the next one. But I do remember it being a nightmare. Just coming back the next morning at 6 o'clock and just seeing that steam roll off of it, but there's ice on it. It was kind of weird.
Generally, concrete will never freeze the first night. The next night, second night's when it freezes and busts.
Yep.
And but talking about concrete, me and Don, when we were in business together, we were pouring a driveway at Hound Deer's. And you know how the mountain weather is.
Yep.
We knew it was going to rain, but we didn't think we was going to get a thunderstorm right on top of it.
I know where you're going with this.
And so we poured it, and as soon as we got done, we got it poured, we got it floated, trialed, and we heard the thunder.
Yep.
So we took 6 mil plastic, and we laid on it, and the wind didn't pick it up, but it rained so hard that the rain itself, the next morning when we took the plastic over, that driveway was as flat as a mirror.
Yeah.
And as slick.
That's crazy. That's pretty cool. So,
we lucked out on that one.
I was getting ready to say, I thought you were going to go with, you didn't have the plastic, because I've been there and done that too, when it comes that gully washer, and then, now you got these, you see every little raindrop in the concrete. We did some decorative concrete one time. It was that way. And oh man, it was. We ended up grinding it up. We had to do it over basically, and it was ugh. So yeah.
So even us contractors have our own knot.
Well, that's it. You can't control. There's things you can't control, and weather being one of those. Some kind of malfunction, like a saw break or a truck breakdown. Some of those things you just can't control, and you got to do the best you can. But
and they never happen at a good time.
No.
Like Kenneth, remember that time you was hauling gravel for me and you broke the axle right there?
Yep.
We was trying to get the gravel in the foundation.
Yep, backed up. I had too much load on the truck, and it started bouncing, and instead of stopping, I didn't stop, and I broke the axle.
Right there on the job.
Dude.
So, it happens to all of us.
How do you even fix that? You got a whole bed of gravel on it.
Daddy, it's not too bad on those 2-ton like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but you still have, I don't know, we got the load off somehow, and I think I had to have the truck towed in. I just remember my dad and I going to Bristol trying to find an axle. I don't miss those days.
Your dad replaced the axle right there, but you had to take it home and then tear it down.
That's right. You have a better memory of that than I do. That wasn't the first axle I ever broke.
Because Randy was sitting back drinking his coffee watching it.
I broke a couple of different axles over my 15 years or whatever in that business.
Actually, I had my tractor there, so he was able to dump it right there where he broke it.
I'd almost forgot about that.
And he was able to drive that. He was lucky because the way the driveway was, it put the force on the axle itself. So.
Okay. Yep. Well, Randy, we're going to wrap everything up here in some horror stories. Get out with the bad, and so we can come in next year with the good. How about that?
That's right.
So thanks again, and Randy, we will talk to you again, and appreciate you calling in. Hope you feel better soon, and we'll have some more shows coming this new year as we go into our 11th year. Here on All About Home Construction. So, Merry Christmas!
I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and safe travels.
That's it. Same to you. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to the family. KR, Merry Christmas to you and the family.
And to you and Randy as well.
Thank you very much. Kenneth Reece from Watauga Online and here at the WATA and, the High Country studios, the new news guy, and, of course, Randy Blake and Terry Cannell Beck. Thanks a lot, guys, and Merry Christmas. Randy, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to All About Home Construction on the podcast. We record this live every Saturday on AM 1450 and FM 96.5 WATA in Boone, North Carolina. You can become a supporter by supporting this with a small monthly donation, and that'll help sustain future episodes. You can do that for as little as 99 cents a month, and that'll go a long way to help our show. Do that, you get your name or your company name included in our advertisements. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.